Whether your mom made Bhindi Masala for you at home, or you had it at an Indian restaurant, you know it's a delicious dish. Bhindi is the Hindi word for okra, so naturally this dish is made from okra. Bhindi Masala can be a nice substitute over the usual vegetables we eat in the US like broccoli, carrots, peas, etc., but it can be tricky to cook because okra gets slimy when wet. My mother-in-law makes an extremely delicious Bhindi Masala and is the auntie who taught me how to cook okra. But I also have some tips from other aunties that I learned over the years. I'll spill these auntie secrets so you can make a delicious, homemade Bhindi Masala. Let's get straight to it. You need 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of minced ginger, 1/4 of a large red onion diced, 1 beefsteak tomato diced, or you can use 2 Roma tomatoes diced, 1/2 cup of cut potatoes, 4 cups of sliced okra. The complete ingredient list is down in the description below. You'll also need these spices. You can get coriander, red chili, turmeric, and fennel powder at the American grocery store in the spices aisle. You can get garam masala at most large American grocery stores in the international foods aisle in the Indian section. You probably need to get amchur powder from an Indian grocery store or buy it online. I have links in the description below for Pakka Indian brands of all of these spices you can buy online. Now for the cooking. Heat a large pan or pot over medium heat. After the pan is hot, add 1 tablespoon of ghee or vegetable oil and let it heat up for a minute. Then add the okra and potatoes. Mix them well so the oil coats the okra and potatoes. The potatoes are optional, but I like to add them because this is what my North Indian mother-in-law does in her Bhindi Masala recipe, which is absolutely delicious. By lightly pan frying the okra first, you reduce the amount of slime that comes out of the okra when you cook it with the tomatoes later. It also makes the okra a vibrant bright green color that will make your food look appetizing. Let the potatoes and okra cook for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. We're only cooking them partially so the okra doesn't get slimy later. Set them aside in a large bowl. If you're finding this video helpful so far, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find homemade Indian recipes in the US and learn to cook like an auntie. Now we'll make the tomato masala. Put the pan back over medium heat and add 1 tablespoon of ghee or vegetable oil again. After the oil heats up for a minute, add the minced ginger and garlic. Optionally, you can use ginger garlic paste if you have an Indian grocery store near you, or make it yourself. Then add the diced onions and mix everything so the oil coats it evenly. We add the ginger, garlic, and onions first because their flavors will infuse into the oil and spread throughout the whole dish better. Once the onions turn translucent, add the tomatoes and stir well. The tomatoes will take about 5 minutes to cook through, so stir every 1 to 2 minutes to prevent them from burning. Here's what the tomatoes look like about halfway through cooking. You can see that water is evaporating from the tomatoes and they're getting softer. Now is a good time to add the spices. Start by adding salt. If you're unsure of how much to add, start with 1 teaspoon, do a taste test, and then add more salt if you wish. Next, add 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, then 1/2 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1/2 teaspoon of fennel powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garam masala, and finally 1/2 teaspoon of amchur powder. Then mix everything together so the tomato masala has the spices evenly distributed. Feel free to add a bit of water if you think the masala looks too dry. Today's Cook Like an Auntie spice level is ABCD. It's the perfect spice level for my ABCD palate. There's enough spice that I can taste the flavors of India, but not so much that it reminds me of how painful the chili peppers in my mom's food was when I was a kid. One of the great things about making your own Indian food at home is that you can choose how spicy you want the food to be. A lot of times at a restaurant, or if you hire an auntie to make you food, you can't control how spicy the food will be, but now you can make it exactly to your own preferences. Now this is what the tomatoes look like when they're done. They're very mushy and most of the water has evaporated out of them. The last step is to add the okra and potatoes back to the pan. Stir them into the tomato masala well so that they're coated evenly. Now is a good time to do a taste test and add any more spices if you think it'll make the dish taste better for your preferences. If you skipped using potatoes, you'll only need to cook for about 2 more minutes to make the masala stick to the okra. Otherwise, cook for 10 to 20 minutes until the potatoes are as soft as you prefer. You may need to add water from time to time and mix the okra and potatoes to make sure that they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. I cooked for an additional 15 minutes before turning off the heat from the stove. And there you have it. Bhindi masala is delicious with roti or chapati. I made another video showing you how to make soft round rotis at home just like an auntie. Remember, if you like this video and want to learn how to cook like an auntie here in the United States, please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, see you next time.